Much of the talk coming into this game has centred on Ireland's ability to frustrate Spain and do it Chelsea after the Blues parked the bus in the Champions League semi-final and snatched a couple of goals on the break. However, Chelsea's team against Barcelona cost a combined €160 million, while Ireland's first 11 against Croatia cost just under €50 million. That tells you its own story. Also, Ireland don't have anyone in the class of Didier Drogba, so maybe rerouting the 46A to Gdansk and sticking it in front of Shea Given is the only answer. Just like Barca in that Champions League semi-final, Spain are likely to own the ball for much of the game. Expect record possession stats for a European Championship game. However, Del Bosque's side struggled to break down Italy for long periods, and a couple of howlers from Fernando Torres aren't likely to have done his confidence any good. Spain also played quite a narrow game against Italy, particularly in the first half, which meant that Prandelli's side owned the wings, and this is where Ireland can cause Spain some problems. It also makes the call for James McLean's inclusion all the greater. Spain were a little bit predictable also in the first half when they played without a striker, and only changed when the introduction of Torres and Navas. However, but for some howlers again from Torres, they would have taken all 3 points. And Ireland are going to need plenty of energy as they're going to spend most of the game chasing shadows and chasing the ball. There's also a few question marks about a couple of the Irish players' fitness, and this doesn't help the cause. It may be time for Trapattoni to abandon his usual cautious approach, but don't bet on it. That said, he's leaving the team announcement up until an hour before kick-off, just to keep everyone guessing this time, so who knows. A look at our record against Spain doesn't make for easy reading. 14 competitive games, just 2 wins and 4 draws, and that's if you include the drawn game at the 2002 World Cup, which Spain went on to win on penalties. Strangely, both of our victories in competitive games have come from own goals. A World Cup qualifier back in 1965, and famously Michel's own goal in 1989 that helped Jack Charlton's men on their way to Italia 90. Ireland have managed just 6 goals in those 14 games, 3 of them coming in one remarkable 3-3 draw in Dublin back in 1982. So history is certainly against Trapp's men sparking a goal fest in Gdansk. Ireland are around 10-1 to win the game, which reflects the size of the task facing them. But both Switzerland 2 years ago in South Africa and England last year in a friendly have proved that it can be done. Like Chelsea in that Champions League semi-final, Ireland will need a massive slice of luck to take anything from the game. But it's not impossible. Ireland's best hope would appear to lie with a set piece, and it's around 90-1 for Ireland to win courtesy of an own goal. May just be our best bet. Ireland need at least a draw to stay in the tournament, but really 2 wins is the only way to guarantee passage into the quarter-final. A lot will depend on what happens in the Italy v Croatia game earlier in the day. Italian boss Cesare Prandelli is considering splitting up his Italian comedy duo front strike force of Mario Balotelli and Antonio Cassano. However, Balotelli's strength may give him the nod over Antonio Di Natale, particularly given the physical threat posed by the Croatians. A draw for Croatia would mean Ireland need to beat Italy in their final game and get at least a draw against Spain, and hope that Croatia beat Spain in their final group match. That's a lot of ifs and buts. On to Friday, and Roy Hodgson's England will be looking to build on their 1-1 draw against France when they take on Sweden in the Group D clash. But if Zlatan Ibrahimovic can reproduce some of the form he showed against Ukraine in their first game, it could spell trouble for Hodgson's men. In fact, Ukraine and Sweden, who took on each other in their opening game, look the pick of the bunch from Group D, and Shevchenko can continue the fairy tale for the host nation when they take on France.